What's up? It's Tom. I've got bad news. I hate to break your heart, but the Minnesota Twins will not be going undefeated in 2026. It was opening day. Twins lost to the Baltimore Orioles. Blah 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 blah. We'll get to that in a moment. But on to more important things. Okay. After much debate, the Sire of Fort Myers committee has emerged with a winner. The 2026 Sire of Fort Myers is Emmanuel Rodriguez. Congratulations, Rodriguez. Put up great numbers and just hit the bejesus out of the ball. You see some data there. But the finalists were Emmanuel Rodriguez, who won. Gabriel Gonzalez also was insane this spring. Had a tremendous spring. Both of those guys, though, about half as many plate appearances as your usual Sire of Fort Myers. You know, your Ryan Lamar or Willie Castro type Sire of Fort Myers. Those guys are getting 40 plate appearances. So a controversial decision. Much fighting in the quarters, in the chamber, over who was going to win. Some of the Sire of Fort Myers elders were pulling for Cody Lawyerson since his resume was a little bit bigger, reliever, of course, but some of the prior relievers have had, around that much of a workload. Joan Duran, Sire Duran, or Ryan Harper was another one. Derek Law, another former Sire of Fort Myers. So it was definitely a three-way race. So a controversial finish, but the nod going to Emmanuel Rodriguez. The controversy continued because, as you all know, I'm sure, the scrolls that were uncovered beneath Hammond Stadium when it was erected dictate that the annual Sire of Fort Myers has a portrait that depicts him as a king, a prince, or a duke from prior years. You will know that. Well, Rodriguez's camp, his representatives found a loophole in that, and the further controversy is the official Sire portrait that he has submitted. And to say the least, the elders did not appreciate this loophole, but it's a prince. Technically, it's a prince. So there's Emmanuel Rodriguez's Sire of Fort Myers official portrait. Congratulations to him. Anyway, back to this silly little game that they played today. Twins lose 2-1. Joe Ryan, it was awesome. Like really good Joe Ryan. And that's huge because he missed a lot of spring, didn't look amazing in spring. He was awesome today. Byron Buxton got a big triple and scored the Twins' only run. And then Victor Caratini was the only guy who reached safely twice. He had a single and a walk. He was the first baseman. Taking a look at the opening day lineup, this was versus a left-hander. So, obviously there's going to be a lot of moving pieces, but Austin Martin looks like he's going to be starting and hitting leadoff against lefties. I love it. Austin brings a different element to this team, this lineup. He was one of the only guys that took advantage of opportunities in the second half last year. So obviously he has to continue to earn this honor of leading off against lefties, but I like giving him this shot. Matt Wallner staying in the lineup against lefties. That's something that Derek Shelton said was going to happen. So that's good to see, and we'll get to more on him in a sec. But Josh Bell DHing with Victor Caratini again at first base. Royce Lewis down at 8. That's kind of noteworthy because they talked up a lot about, there was a lot of discussion about like Royce being more positive and kind of getting back into more of an optimistic mindset. And there was a lot of talk about like Derek Shelton trying to establish a relationship with him. So I was curious if maybe like he'd be like hitting fourth just to sort of give him an attaboy and a slap on the backside to, hey, this is what we think of you. Let's get going. I don't know. He looked pretty bad this spring. I don't know if that's a factor in that, but not only did he hit eighth against a lefty, he also got pinch hit for in the ninth inning. So that was against a righty. They pinch hit Trevor Larnach for him against the O's closer. But Royce, again, bad year, bad spring, so that stuff's going to happen. I'm just kind of curious how he's going to react to that now. Continuing some news and notes from the game, the biggest thing, the Twins should have won this game. This is a 2-1 game, so competitive. They hung in there, but they really should have won. They were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position and hit into 3 double plays. Joe Ryan, again, looked really good. 4 whiffs on his curveball, 4 swinging strikes, and he was throwing that pitch way more than usual. He had 16 whiffs altogether, swinging strikes for Joe Ryan. Matt Wallner, again, back to him. He saw 20 pitches, which was tied with Josh Bell for the game high, and drew 2 walks against Trevor Rogers, the O's lefty starter. So that was great to see. Also made a good catch out in right field as well. 6 hardest hit balls in this game. The 6 hardest hit balls were all from Twins, ranging from 109.7 to 101.3 KDWB, baby, miles per hour. The O's scored both of their runs in the 7th inning. The exit velocities on their 3 hits were 90.4, 96.4, and 82.6. So 1 hard hit ball in those 3. They only had 4 at-bats with runners in scoring position. Again, the Twins had 11. So, the O's executed, maybe their balls in play found where the fielders weren't more often, but also defensively, the O's took care of business. It's not like they had web gems left and right, but all 3 of those double plays were just really smooth. They played well in the field. So, usually you lose, and no matter how much you want to dig into some of this stuff, at the end of the day, you can look back and see the other team executing when they needed to better than you did. So that's the story at the end of the day. ABS challenges. I'm not going to talk about these a ton on the channel because I feel like my audience, you guys are pretty used to this whole concept because the minor leagues have been doing it for 5 years or something now. But it adds an interesting element of almost strategy. I think you get 2 unsuccessful challenges. As long as you're successful, you don't lose those challenges. And it's just nice to have something in place when an umpire obviously misses a call and it's a big spot. It's not like you just have to throw your hands up and there's nothing you can do about it. I like this system. It goes really quick. I think anybody new to this was going to be surprised at how quickly this system works. Minor leagues. If you're wondering when the minor leagues start, the Saints open their season tomorrow at Indianapolis, and their home opener is on Tuesday in St. Paul. And then both Wichita and Fort Myers open next Thursday, the 2nd, and then the Colonels will start on Friday. I'm not sure why the variance between all those, but so that's it for all the full season leagues. So we'll be kind of up and rolling by next Friday, April 3rd. We will have everybody rolling. Just a reminder, the We're Gonna Win zine double cover with Byron Buxton and Kalen Culpepper is still available. Put a link to that down in my description, and also check out Limestone Pipeline for even more minor league coverage. Unveiled the win over the Saints roster that was unveiled today there, and put out my projected Saints lineup and rotation. So you can check that out on Limestone Pipeline. That's actually free over there too. It's usually $4 a month for members, but we do put out free content on a fairly regular basis. So check that out on Patreon. Thanks for checking this one out. Appreciate you. We'll talk again tomorrow. Go Saints.